Hey guys, Vindomania, yes, I'm back. And I've been absent for like 3 weeks and then I've got like 3 videos up. So, as you know, my good friend Mike Lacey sends me graphic novels every couple of months for me to review. And I've kind of fell off the wagon a bit. So with me being off, I thought I would give one a read and talk about it and let you know my thoughts about it. And I said to him that you know, it was something to do with, I think it was a Supergirl trailer, and said that I didn't really know that much about Superman. He said, well, you would know if you read this, which is Superman Birthright, which is done by Mark Waid, Neil Francis Yu and Jerry Allen Guilin or something. I have no idea. Yeah, so Mark Waid's the writer. We have Dave McCaig, the colorist, Comicraft letter, and that kind of thing. So this basically starts off with Clark Kent in, I think he's in like Africa or somewhere, talking to, he wants to like get the story and things. This is before he works for the Daily Planet. I was going to say Daily Bugle there. Oh, that would have been catastrophic. So yes, the whole premise of this is to find out how Superman comes about. So you see Clark Kent before he becomes Superman. There's a couple of instances where he has to make a decision whether he has to save people or not, and he makes a decision to do that. And whenever he does that, it's kind of like an X-Men syndrome, where people look at him differently and they can't really trust him because he, you know, like has this power, and you know, like he can pick a car up and throw it away and that kind of thing. You know, like he has that there, and people just think that they can't really trust him. So then he goes back home to his ma and pa, because every time he writes an email, it's always like, your pa says this, from his mother, and goes back and says that, you know, like he felt good whenever he wanted to help them, but he needs to have like kind of a dual identity kind of thing, you know, like we all know what comes to this. But his father kind of doesn't take to this as readily as his mum does. His mum and him like kind of make the suit, and she does like all the sewing and stitching and things, and he actually uses his heat vision to like blend things together, because they actually use the cape. There's like something that gets put in his on his like little ship thing whenever he's getting sent to Earth, and obviously they put that on because like that's his family crest. So his father, his mum and dad are having a conversation, and she says, you know, like, you know, he's nothing like us, and his father says something, that's what I'm afraid of. And his father, you know, like if you watch the likes of Smallville, or if you watch like you know, the New Adventures of Superman, you know, you can see that he has such a close bond with his mother and his father, whereas in this he doesn't really with his father. But then he kind of does become a bit more after his father wails on his, like, the rocket with like a hammer, and it explodes and he flies up in the air, and Clark goes up and catches him, goes like, you know, like, I've never taken you flying before, have I? You know, why would you think I wouldn't want to go flying? And kind of after that, the kind of two of them become bonded better. And then you see with that as well, you also see the fact that you know, like the costume, you see them like dressing him so like they have to hide his muscles, because obviously he's very well defined, so they put like a jumper on him, then they put like a jacket on him, and then he's got like piercing blue eyes, and his mum says, you know, like, well, you know, like maybe we can, you know, Clark says, what about a wig? And he goes like, no, and his dad takes off the glasses and put them on, and he goes like, whoa, strong prescription. Goes like, well, you can see through walls, and his eyes are going from like bright blue to like very faded like green almost. So like, you know, you don't want to bring people up to, you know, like who you are. And there's a panel where Lois is saying, I think I recognise you, and is kind of looking at him and pointing up and pointing down and going like, no, I don't. And Clark says like, oh man, it works. But you also see about him and Lex, that Lex lived in Smallville and was kind of like a evil scientist almost, you know, like he's wanting to make this thing, and this is whenever he gets the kryptonite and it's starting to hurt Clark, and the thing that he uses like blows up, and he becomes very like disfigured and stuff. And then I think that's whenever he obviously goes to Metropolis after Clark then decides he wants to go to Metropolis. So he introduces himself to Lex and goes like, Lex, it's been a long time. And he goes like, that's the second lie that you've told Mr. Kent, and it's to do with, you know, like these helicopters that are out of control and how LexCorp are dealing with it and everything like that. But it kind of goes backwards and forwards, and you know, like, so you see stuff to do with Clark being at home and his interactions with Lex, and then his current interactions with Lex. And Lex says that, you know, he's like working on this invention, and he finds out that Superman is from Krypton, and Superman isn't aware of this. So Lex like stages a invasion of Earth from the Kryptonians. I think I've said that right. And there's like a big like ant thing. It's very like something you would see like in Power Rangers. It just like appears, and Lois is like, hold on, there's like no ships, there's none of this and there's none of that, and she knows something's up, and she's talking to Superman, and Superman's fighting. But at this time, Lex has turned all the people of Metropolis and everything against Superman, and kind of saying, you know, like, he's an alien, you know, like, and that kind of thing. And Superman's actually going to leave, and he's like hell, am I going to leave? But this is the first time I've read Superman, but the first time that Superman has like a bit of an evil streak, not evil streak, but you know, like, he's not as easy as a pushover, you know, like, it's almost like he has some morals, but at some stages he will leave them at the door and kind of go like, I need to do this, you know. There's a scene wherever there's a robbery being held up in a bank, and there's like a news reporter there and says, you know, like, there's gunfire, and then you see like the guns outside, and Superman goes to where he thinks, where people said that they brought the guns, and he like kind of like pins him up against the board, but he shoots a gun at them, and at the man, and then flies around and grabs the bullet, goes like, that's how close you came, and things like that. But this was a really good, like, it's a big book. It's like 280 odd pages long, but it's a very good book. It's one of those ones that it's taken me a couple of days to get through, but I did enjoy it. I did enjoy, you know, like, how seeing like a different spin on how, you know, of how Superman came about and that kind of thing. And no, it was a very good book. If you're like, I think Superman is one of those ones that has like a bad rep, so to speak, you know, like, a lot of people go like, oh, I don't really like Superman, he's boring, or, you know, like, I prefer Batman over Superman. If you had to give me Batman or Superman, I would go for Batman over Superman. You know, there's more talk about the Batman Superman film to do with the Batman side of it than there is Superman, but this has certainly piqued my interest to do with Superman. I wouldn't say that I would want to go out, like, you know, like at the London Con and look for nothing but Superman books, but, you know, like, if you can recommend any Superman books that you've read in the comments below, let me know, and then I'll see about maybe picking one or two of them up. But yeah, that's just going to do a quick review for this here. I know I've fallen behind, Mike, I'm sorry, but you always say that you enjoy my review, so hopefully I've done this one justice. I'm not actually Superman, so I just thought I would take my glasses off just to show you that I'm not. So he's got more hair than I do as well, more curls. But yeah, let me know what your favourite Superman book is down below. And yes, thank you very much for watching, and until next time.